Welcome back to Build with Kipla podcast. On this podcast, we build apps, businesses, and cities so that we can build wealth. Hosted by yours truly, Kipla Sino. So I hope you guys are building a great and amazing day. And for this episode, we'll be talking about app development, and we'll actually be specifically talking about our manifestation card app, which is based on the idea of manifestation, and more specifically based on Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secrets, which is a lecture that you can actually find on YouTube. I'll have the link below in the description. It's about 30 minutes. Yeah, I believe it's 30 minutes, plus or minus a couple minutes. And it is an amazing lecture. I listen to it every day. I might have missed 1 or 2 days. That being said, I listened to, like this morning, I listened to it on my walk. And it has been amazing. There are some takeaways I would love to share with you guys if you guys haven't heard about it yet. And if you have, then you can skip ahead further to learn more about the app. So one of the takeaways that I've taken is we become what we think about. That is something he mentions in the lecture, which is tied to the quote by Henry Ford: the man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he cannot are both correct. Which one are you? So it's just the idea that you have control over what happens just because of the way you think. So if you think, once again, if you think you can achieve something, then you will take the steps to achieve that thing. Like if you think you can walk to Arkansas from Alabama, I don't know why that example came, but that was what came. And you know you can walk there, so you'll take the steps to walk there. If you think that for some reason you cannot walk that distance, then you won't take the steps. You'll be like, no, this is pointless. There's no reason to, I will never achieve it. So that can be tied to anything. It could be tied to becoming a sprinter, right? You think you can sprint, you think you can beat the people around in your school or in your club or in the global community, then you will train for that. You'll be like, I believe in myself, I believe I can achieve this. If you don't think you can ever do that, you think that you don't have the talent, you don't have the work ethic, or everyone's just better than you for some reason, then you won't have the incentive, you won't have the internal drive to actually practice and race, because you think you already lost, there's no point in actually racing. So that's one of my favorite things there. Another thing that I really enjoyed too is the fact that our brain is extremely powerful and that it can achieve anything that we set out to achieve. For example, we have a brain just like the greatest people. So whatever you consider to be great, if it's a sport athlete, they also had to use their brain, they had to use the work ethic, they had to set the goal. If it is a business magnate, if it's Bill Gates, for example, he also had to use his brain. That's what he used to get to that point. If it's conquerors, like these great people in history, they all had a brain. The brain is what allowed them to achieve it, and it's their thinking that they can do it that allowed them to do it. Because if Bill Gates didn't think he could achieve that, then he would never achieve it. Like, it doesn't matter if he saw early success. If you see early success and you still don't believe in yourself, then you will dwindle and mess that success up and become failure because you are seeking failure essentially. So another thing that he said, which is what we're going to be talking about more specifically to the app, is his 30-day challenge. So in the 30-day challenge, he asked us to write down on a piece of paper, on a card actually, what it is that we desire. So that desire can range from you want to lose 5 pounds, you want to gain 20 pounds, you want to earn $10 million a year, you want to become manager at your job, you want to find your wife, you want to have a better relationship with your children. It doesn't matter what your desire is, because it is your desire. It's just for you to know specifically what it is that you want. Because if you don't know what you want, you'll be going in different directions. So having a singular desire will drive you towards it. And he also states that as you write down your desire on the piece of card, you should look at it first thing in the morning in a cheerful manner, knowing that it is happening, and to be relaxed. You're cheerful and relaxed as you read your goal. And as you read, and you should do this often. You should do it throughout the day as often as you possibly can. And it should be the last thing you do before going to bed is you put this into your subconscious mind, and which is kind of tied to Neville Goddard, where he says that before sleep, the last thoughts you have in your sleep is what your subconscious mind will spend the night thinking about. So that's even a better reason why the last thing that you should see before you go to sleep is your goal. Then he also goes on to say that you don't have to worry about how you're going to achieve that goal. You should leave it to a power greater than yourself. And that being said, you do have to give more of yourself. That doesn't mean you should be frantic. That means you should be efficient and hardworking. So, for example, if you're a salesperson, then you just do your work. You do it really well. You stay motivated. You stay inspired because you know it will happen. The goal that you're seeking. And he said to give more of yourself than you have before. And the last thing he says is that at the other side of the card, you should write down Matthew 7:7, which states, "Ask and ye shall receive, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you." So, although this is not a Christian discussion, I did look up the full verse, so Matthew 7:7 to Matthew 7:12, because I wanted to know more about what he was speaking about, because he was using the Bible. And the full section says, "Ask," this is Matthew 7:7, "Ask and it shall be given you, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father, which is in heaven, give good things to them that ask him? Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets." So, essentially, this really says that you ask what you desire for, your Heavenly Father will provide for it, because even a earthly father who is sinful, who is evil by nature, will provide for his son, and he will not give his son poison instead of food. Right? And so that's why we're building the app out. And another reason too is actually I do have my card, and it is completely beat up, right? And that is because I carry it around, and it folds. It's something that's in my wallet. So instead, what if I had it as an app, and that is something that cannot break? It is there at all times. I can also look at it throughout the day multiple times without any worries. And that is like the reason why we're building out the app. And the next section will actually talk about more of the design. So that is essentially it. Thank you so much for watching. In the next episode, we'll talk more actually the design of the app, and this was the backstory. Thank you so much.